on any of the planets, because everything is aligned perfectly. That is why human life and all species of life can exist. We discussed at the universal level, then we discussed at the earth level. We didn't get into the human body. So yesterday I had gone to Bhavan College. Yesterday morning, I was invited to give a talk in Bhavan College on some this any spiritual topic. Actually, it was a school, Badia school within Bhavan's college complex, and ninth standard students. So they told me speak some spiritual topic. And the ninth standard student who क्या spiritual topic देंगे ना, are struggling. So then I actually spoke on the topic: Does God exist? Does God exist? Right? So then I used last time जो discuss करा उसको ही use करके थोड़ा मैंने और develop किया, that how looking at the extraordinary design of the universe. First, I started with universe. Then I went to extraordinary design of the Earth planet where we live. यहाँ पे इतना design है. Then I went to extraordinary design of the human body. If you look at the human body, actually you don't. Anyone who really observes how the human body works cannot be an atheist. It's not possible. Because you'll see that बाबा ये क्या है? ऐसा कैसा perfectly सब कुछ चलता है. So that's what I talked about. And last time that is what we discussed, right? And then we discussed how many things that what. Just imagine if oxygen did not replenish, water did not replenish, if clouds didn't have the capacity to carry water, if all living entities ate the same food, you run out of food in no time. There'll be nothing left, right? So everything has been perfectly designed. Everything has been perfectly designed by the Supreme Lord so that we can live here, we can thrive here, we can reproduce here, we can die here, and we can be reborn here. If you want to, if that's what you want, you can be here for all your life. We also discussed that this is not the situation of only Earth planet. A Brahma Bhumana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. As Krishna says in the Gita, that from the planet of Brahma to a lowly ant, these are all places where repeated birth and death is taking place. Now, repeated birth and death for Brahma is very, very long, as we will discuss in today's class. Today, we will discuss what is the relativity of time according to the different planetary systems that Brahma has created. Brahma is staying in the highest, Satyaloka, we discussed last time. And we are staying in middle planetary system, right? But the time relativity is very amazing. So Brahma's got a very long lifespan. But still Krishna is saying, Ah Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Again and again birth and death will take place. Mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. If you come to me, if you transcend this material world, get out of this cycle of birth and death, whether it is short birth and death, it is long birth and death, it is still miserable. No one likes death. Nobody in this entire creation can say, yeah, अपने को तो death चलता है. I'm okay. Except someone who is suffering so much that the body is now, इतना तकलीफ दे रहा है कि he feels कि यार ये body जाने दो, कोई नया body मिला, कम से कम थोड़ा respite तो मिलेगा. That's the only person who is welcoming death. Otherwise, nobody. No matter how miserable we are, we still feel क्या कल का दिन अच्छा रहेगा, क्या हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. We are always thinking like that. So, in today's class, we'll try and discuss there are a lot of things actually to discuss. I don't know how much we'll be able to complete. And it is a bit technical. I'm not running away from it, but I didn't want to skip it also because without covering this, we'll be doing a bit of an injustice. Yes, sorry. Without doing this, without covering this, the elements of creation, and we will feel कि ये सब ऐसे ही by chance हो गया. It just happened by evolution. As far as evolution is concerned, Srimad Bhagavatam is extremely clear, and we'll see today. What is Bhagavatam's take on evolution, right? It basically says there's no evolution. All the living entities were created by Brahma in their original bodies as they are now. Okay, so we'll come to that. So after this discussion, Vidura asked Maitreya, "Tell me about time. About what is the influence of time." So in that section, actually, in just 3 verses, he summarizes that what is the influence of time. So I'll just refer to that from Subodhini. Wait, I will have to wear my spectacles. Yeah. Yeah. So he asks, tell me about the characteristics of time, which is another form of the Lord. You remember in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that I am time. I am time. Huh? All devouring time. So Vidura says, tell me about time also. Describe symptoms of eternal time. So various characteristics Maitreya just quickly describes. Okay. So he says, it is the source of interactions of the modes. So mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Interaction happens because of time. Then he says it does not have any attributes, therefore it is imperceptible. Imperceptible. You can't see time, you can't hear time, you can't feel time, you can't you can't taste time. Doesn't have any attributes, time, but you can feel its effect. Time is like that. You can feel the effect of time, but you can't see it. Okay. Then it is limitless, without beginning or end. It separates the material energy of the Lord from the spiritual energy. It divides the universe into various planetary systems. So we discussed that there are 14 different planetary systems we discussed last time. So in those planetary systems, time is dividing them. So as per time, each planetary system, so there's a particular answer. Like for example, here also in our realm, we see that 1 year over here is 365 days, right? 365.24 days or something like that. Right? But the same realm, Jupiter is around 12 years. One revolution of Jupiter is 12 years, right? So there's relativity even here, but on the higher planetary system, it is way, way more. We'll discuss as we get along. So it divides the different creation. Yeah. Causes the universe to appear alike in the present as it was in the past and shall be in the future. ये मेरे को बड़ा interesting लगा कि अरे here it is being said that time makes the universe appear as it was in the past, as it is now, as it will be in the future. इसका क्या मतलब है? हम तो बोलते हैं कि time destroys everything. Then how is it that time makes the universe appear same as it was in the past, as it is now, and it will be in the future? How is that? Any ideas? Huh? Cyclic. Because time is in the form of a cycle. We will discuss in the 4 yugas. So after 4 yugas are completed, one cycle of 4 yugas is completed. Another cycle starts. So that is manifested by time. So the symptoms of Satyuga that we saw at the start of Satyuga will manifest again by the influence of time. What we are seeing in Kali Yuga now, degradation all over. You'll see it again if you're here. And we may be here. Remember, so when we read this, when we hear these, these technical details, we should understand, अरे मैं कितने टाइम से यहाँ पे material world में फंसा हूँ. God knows how many yugas, how many days of Brahma, how many lifetimes of Brahma I have been here. And still I feel, नहीं यार थोड़ा और मौज करते हैं. यार मतलब पेट नहीं भरा और थोड़ा हो जाए. मतलब वो बोलते हैं ना कि पेट भर गया लेकिन नियत नहीं भरी. हम लोग we have had enough sense gratification for millions of lifetimes. Srila Prabhupada, when one of his disciples asked him a question, in reply to that question, Srila Prabhupada said, "You have given so many millions of lifetimes to Maya, to the illusory energy of the Lord, trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. Give one lifetime to Krishna. One. You will not be the loser." Beautiful. If you read the purports of this section, now Prabhupada writes nice words. Just the language used by Prabhupada is so nice in the Srimad Bhagavatam. For those of you who have it, please read it. मतलब उसको जशी आई तशी मत रखो. श्रीमद् भागवतम अगर है ना घर पे, उसको रोज पढ़ो. Read it because through those purports, actually, Srila Prabhupada is speaking with us. See, it is not that he's just throwing some facts or he's trying to show off. He like in one of these verses, Prabhupada refers to the Vedas. Where there's a description of the lower species, the animals. He's quoted one full verse from the Vedas. Even in ISKCON, वेदास का हमको कुछ अता पता भी नहीं है. मतलब कुछ भी हम खाली वेदा से चार नाम हम क्या है वेदा, ऋग वेदा, अथर्व वेदा, ऐसा हम नाम बोल सकते. उसके आगे हमने कुछ मालूम नहीं. Prabhupada is quoted also. So he is not trying to show off there. He is not trying to show his knowledge. He is just trying to convince you that the Vedas are authentic. What they say and what they said millions of years ago is true even now. The Srimad Bhagavatam, even the atheists, even the scientists, historians, kind of, agree together. This was spoken some 5,000 years ago. 5,000 से ज़्यादा इसका उम्र है भागवतम का. And इसमें जो facts दिए गए हैं, what facts are stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, you will be amazed. In little further down, there is a description given by Kapila Dev to his mother Devahuti. So when Devahuti is speaking to Kapila Dev, there Kapila Dev gives a description of the entire process of a baby being born. From the point of conception to the point where the child develops in the womb of the mother. Whole description is given. What a sonography, what a proper sonography done every week will achieve. That is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 5,000 years back. So somewhere we have to have faith that this Bhagavatam is not some ordinary, I think, time pass nahi hai, some nice conversation, some nice Hari Katha, between Parikshit and Parikshit was going to leave his body. So Sukhdev Goswami ने कुछ उनको अच्छा हरि कथा बताया, उनका जीवन सार्थक हो गया, वो चले गए, भगवत धाम चले गए. No, Srimad Bhagavatam is practical. It is for you and me. It is for us to understand who is this God. मेरा उनसे क्या लेना देना है? What relationship can I develop with this God? What is the best way to do it? Where are the examples? What are the things to do? What are the things to not do? We can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. And on top of that, we also learn so many facts about the universe as it is. Let's proceed. Yeah. So after description of time, then he speaks about 3 types of destruction. Okay, I'll not delve into that because it's a long discussion. One is the destruction by Kala, which is time. Second is the destruction by Dravya. Dravya is due to the material elements breaking down at the end of Brahma's life. Okay, at the end of Brahma's day. Kala is end of Brahma's life. Okay, when Brahma lives 100 years, when he finishes his life, that universe is finished. That universe retracts into the body of Mahavishnu. Dravya is end of Brahma's day. There's a partial dissolution or destruction that happens at the end of Brahma's day. And there is Guna. Due to one's own actions, one gets destroyed. That's at the individual level. So there's 3 levels of destruction. And then he discusses about the 6 primary creations which are created through Prakriti, which is created by the nature but by Vishnu. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu, if you remember, was a very, very technical discussion. So I am sure many of you were spaced out. I was also spaced out. Don't worry, ऐसा होता नहीं है कि ये technical discussion में कभी-कभी हम लोग थोड़ा space out हो जाते हैं. But the primary creation, which is created of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, had all the raw materials, the 3 gunas, the senses, the devatas for the senses, all those were created by Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Then the lotus sprouted from his navel, Then Brahma was born on top on that lotus flower. Brahma then went up and down the lotus flower because he couldn't see anything. What can he? Brahma went up and down the lotus. He could not understand, see anything. Then he heard the word tapa. Then he did tapasya. Then he saw Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who then instructed him, you meditate for another 100 years, and then you start the process of creation. I've given you everything. Everything is there. And then Brahma starts the creation. Okay. So in this secondary creation, which is done by Brahma, which is called Visarga or Vaikrita, what does he create? Now pay attention, okay? Because this is where it's slightly technical, but you will be amazed by the details that are given over here. So he talks about four types of living entities that are created by Brahma. Four. Okay. The first are which is called immovable jivas, which are plants. Immovable. Okay. The second is called lower species. Lower species, which is the animals. Third is the humans. Humans, okay. And the fourth are the devatas, demigods. If you remember, there was one degree of demigods that was only created by Lord Garbhodakshay Vishnu. But there are more which are created by Brahma. For many, because you know, अभी आजकल बड़ा स्टार्टअप का कल्चर चल रहा है ना, सब लोग शार्क टैंक बोलते रहते हैं. You know, I have not seen Shark Tank, but I've read so much about it now. I practically know what goes on in Shark Tank. इतना पढ़ा है उसमें. LinkedIn पे तो रोज Shark Tank ही चलता है. तो जो founder होता है, when somebody creates a company, along with creating the company, he has to have a team to run the company. Who will manage the affairs? Who will manage the finance? Who will manage the people? Who will manage the plant? Who will manage the sales? Who will manage the accounting? So for every function you need people. In an ordinary company, पूरा यूनिवर्सल अफेयर्स देखने के लिए कितने लोग लगेंगे? दैट इज जो हम बोलते हैं ना, करोड़ों देवता, कोई बोलते हैं 33 करोड़, कोई बोलता है 3.3 करोड़, जो भी नंबर ले लो कम ही है, because universe is so massive and there are so many things to be managed in the universe. Everything is being managed. ऐसे नहीं चल रहा है, चलो हो गया क्रिएशन, अभी करो तुम लोग, फिगर आउट करो कुछ. नो, the Lord is not like that. The Lord has created and he is maintaining through his energies, through the demigods, he is maintaining everything. Okay. So immovable, lower species, human beings and devatas. These are the four categories. Now let us look at the description of the plant species. Okay. That's very interesting. He says there are 6 types of plant species. 6 types. First is what is called Vanaspatayah. Vanaspatayah is they don't have flowers but they have fruit. This is the first category. Flowers नहीं आते हैं उनको, लेकिन fruit आता है. दूसरा are what are called annual plants. So those who are into farming, they know that there is something called annual plants. I wish my wife was here. She knows all this much better than I do. But anyway, so AC नहीं चल रहा है दीदी. Okay. I thought maybe I am not. ऐसी तो चाहिए माता जी, नहीं तो कैसे बैठेंगे खुले बंद रूम में. हाँ, our savior has come. Those who are online are wondering कि ये क्या चल रहा है. Basically यहाँ पे रूम में AC नहीं चल. Okay. Yeah. So so one is vanaspati. Second is annual plants. Annual plants means these are the plants. जैसे जो भी vegetables हम लोग डालते हैं ना, they are not perennial. वो साल में एक बार आता है, वेजिटेबल देता है, मर जाता है, फिर वापस उसको प्लांट करना पड़ता है. भिंडी बोलो, टमाटर बोलो, ये सब. हाँ, बनाना फिर भी has a life. It's not an annual plant, but most of these other vegetables that we have, बैंगन, सब्जी, fruits, not fruits में तरबूज, mango is not a, mango is an annual, it goes on forever. But it goes on, it keeps giving. But there are some plants which will give you once एंड फिनिश्ड, उसके बाद वापस नहीं आएगा। उसका यहाँ पे भागवतम में डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया है, ठीक है। तीसरा लता, एनीवन कॉल्ड लता हियर? एनी लता? अच्छा, लता, I forgot, she's not here today, yeah. So lata is plants that need support. Creeper, okay, these are creepers. So this is the third category. Chautha category, tvakshara. Tvakshara means hollow plants. Which are the plants which are hollow? Bamboo, right? So bamboo is also mentioned. This is the fourth category. Fifth category is virudha, stiff trunk with no support needed. These are all the trees. These are all the trees, huh? Banyan, mango, सब मतलब teak, जो भी जितने भी पेड़ हैं, it's got a stiff trunk. I don't need support. This is the fifth category of plants. And the sixth category is called drumaha, which gives fruit through flowers. मतलब पहला flower आता है, फिर उसमें से fruit आता है. तो ऐसा 6 category बताया गया है. Now, interestingly, there are also characteristics given of these plants, of this variety, immovable variety, right? First of all, immovable तो हमने discuss किया, they don't move, मतलब they are stationary. थोड़ा within that वो थोड़ा लहराएंगे, but they can't move from one place to another. Wherever they are planted, they are there. They can't move. Like we discussed, Vimuna Prabhu का हर साल जब हम लोग कार्तिक के समय दामोदर लीला में जो 2 trees, Arjun, Yamal Arjun trees, they were cursed to become trees. That because you are exposing your body and you have no shame, you become a tree only, which is completely exposed and has no shame. Right? So they became trees. So one is they are not movable. Second, their consciousness is not evident. The consciousness of plants is not evident. Anyone knows who discovered that plants are living entities? Jagdish Chandra Bose. When did that happen? About 100 years back, right? I don't think it was much before that. What? Max 100 years, right? 100 साल से तो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होगा. Maximum 100 years to be. But plants have been there from time immemorial. यहाँ पे तो भागवतम में तो पहले ही बोला गया है कि they are living entities, but their consciousness is not evident. दिखता नहीं है इतना कि conscious है. But they feel pain when cut. Okay? Though their pain is not the same pain that a goat feels when its neck is chopped off, that a fish feels when it is pulled out of water and it suffocates and dies. It is not the same pain that a chicken feels when its head is ऐसा निकालते हैं. वो जो पेन है, वो प्लांट को उतना पेन नहीं होता है. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm being very graphic, but that's what happens, right? We don't get to see it. Unfortunately, those of us who used to eat meat or still eat meat, we don't get to see the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, क्या होता है? I remember as a child, I was a teenager at that time, maybe. Yeah, I was around 18, maybe, so around 17 or so. We used to eat, all the unmentionables we used to eat earlier. So once my mother sent me, तू जाके लेके आ. पहली बार गया मैं, मेरे को वेरी एक्साइटेड है, मैं जाके लेके आ गया, फिर माँ ने भेजा है, पैसा वैसा लेके मैं निकला. But then I went there, and when I went there, I saw something, I saw the way उसको काटा and the blood just splattered like that, and that animal ऐसा तड़प तड़प के मर रहा था. I couldn't see it. I didn't buy. I came back home. नहीं चले तुम्हारे लिए करने नहीं चाहिए बाबा, प्लीज सॉरी. मैं भागे यहाँ से. I went home. I told my mother, मम्मी आज से हम लोग नॉनवेज नहीं खाएंगे, मेरे से तो नहीं होगा. तो मेरे मदर ने मेरे को बोला कि अरे कुछ नहीं होता है, चलता है, कुछ नहीं, तू मत खरीद, मैं खरीद के लेती हूँ, मैं बना के देती हूँ. तेरे को थोड़ी काटने को बोला है, तेरे को थोड़ी देखने को बोला है, तेरे को खाली खाने का है ना. डोंट वरी, आई डू इट. But then 2 years later they got connected to ISKCON. उन्होंने सब कुछ निकाल दिया, सब नॉनवेज सब हट गया घर से, लकीली. एंड उसके साथ मेरा भी काम हो गया, right? But that is what it is, right? See, animals, the way they suffer when they are killed, a plant doesn't suffer like that. It has a lower level of consciousness than even an animal. Okay, so when we chop a brinjal को हम लोग काट के निकालते प्लक करते हैं या एक मैंगो प्लक करते हैं या कोई सब्जी काटते हैं तो उनको भी दर्द है. They feel pain, as mentioned, they feel pain when it is cut, but their pain is not the same pain as a animal whose neck has been chopped off and killed, right? We must be conscious. We must, as human beings, we simply must be conscious of what we are doing, what is going on around us. We must not be like, चलता है चलता है चलता है. यार दुनिया लोग सारी दुनिया चाहे ऐसे सोचे, whole world में think like that, चलता है चलता है चलता है, सब चीज चलता है, लेकिन हम लोग के लिए नहीं चलता. इस रूम में जो लोग बैठे हैं, at least we should not think चलता है, सब चलता है. नहीं चलता, नहीं चलता. You imagine, okay? People say that lamb खाएंगे. What is lamb? Anyone knows what is a lamb? Sheep's young one is called a lamb. मतलब लैम्ब का बछड़े को मार के खाते हैं, है ना? It's a delicacy. Everyone enjoys it. Now you put yourself in that position. If your child in front of you is snatched away and then killed mercilessly and eaten by somebody, do you like it? How do we accept? How do we even accept that this is acceptable? कैसे? हम लोग ना we have become numb. नम समझते सुन्न हो गए हम लोग. हर चीज हम लोग को हाँ ठीक है ठीक हाँ ठीक हाँ ओके ओके ओके. सब चीज हमारे we sweep everything under the imaginary carpet of our lives. Don't do it. Wake up. Understand what is going on. World will give you all kinds of propaganda. रोज खाओ अंडे. वो अंडे अंडे बनाने में वो जो hen को क्या टॉर्चर किया जाता है आपको पता है क्या? What kind of torture they go through? So don't be taken in by the propaganda of the world. The world is here to make money. That's it. They don't care anything else. Today, if you look around the world, how much cheating is going on? How much these founders, there is this list. Forbes magazine, suna hai kisi ne? Some of you may have heard it. Forbes magazine is one of the most prestigious Forbes magazine is one of the most prestigious business magazines on the planet. One of them, it is the most. And उसमें हर साल एक लिस्ट निकलता है. Forbes 30 under 30, Forbes 40 under 40 means 30 people who are less than 30 years of age, but they have achieved something great. महान लोग हैं ये लोग. ऐसा करके हर साल उनका एक लिस्ट छपता है. उनमें से there was one lady who was a founder of some company who had taken funding from some venture capital firm. She has cheated that firm. She has been caught. That she was showing that मेरे पास 4 million customer हैं. वो basis पे उसको उन्होंने funds दिया, पैसा दिया. And she is Forbes 30 under 30. She has cheated, shown that we have 4 million customers when they didn't have. And then when this JP Morgan, which bought her company, when they tried to call up those 4 million customers, 90% में नंबर ही गलत है. फिर उनको लगा ये क्या लफड़ा है, कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे. And Forbes 30 under 30 gone case, right? So much cheating going on in the world. Everyone is just पैसा बनाओ boss. Let's create wealth. Let's have money. Money है तो फिर बाद में हम लोग मजा करेंगे बस. Everyone is just worried about that. No one is thinking. What am I doing? Is it right? What is the long-term repercussions? छोड़ो next life छोड़ो, इस lifetime में अगर मैं पकड़ा गया तो क्या होगा? What if I am caught? No one is thinking. It's just like मेरा share price पर जाए बस. That's it. Yeah. So be conscious what is going on. Don't think that meat eating is while Many of us may have had meat all our lives, and maybe now we have recently given it up. Some may have still not given it up. Fine, I'm not judging anybody, but at least be conscious. Someone is giving up their life under intense pain and suffering so that you and I can eat a good meal, gourmet meal, right? How unfair is that? How unfair that someone should give up their life so that I can eat something delicious? Hello, wake up, right? So third thing is feel pain. Fourth thing, very interesting. Okay, upward nourishment, मीनिंग उनको नरिशमेंट नीचे से मिलता है और वो ऊपर की तरफ आता है. करेक्ट ना? प्लांट का जमीन से नरिशमेंट आता है और वो ऊपर जाता है, राइट? So this is about plants. Then he speaks about lower species, which is the animals. Okay, so now listen to the animals. He said there are 28 types of animals, 28 high level, but usme then four categories are given. One, it says those which have two hooves. Two hooves. Okay, so some examples of two hooves: cow, goat, buffalo, stag, hog, deer, lamb, camel. They have hooves, ऐसा दो hooves है उनका. So ये एक category हो गया. Second category is one hoof. One hoof में कौन आता है? The horse, the mule, the ass, the gaura, the bison, wild cow, all have only one hoof. Okay. Then the third category is called the panchanakha. That means they have 5 nails. Okay, 5 nails or 5 hooves, whatever, 5 claws. Which are they? Dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator. They all have 5 nails in the claws. So see the classification. हम लोग ने बायोलॉजी में वो टैक्सोनॉमी पढ़ा रहेगा कभी बचपन में, कभी तो संगीत तो अभी सुना होगा. Taxonomy, which is dividing plants, dividing animals. Here you are. Bhagavatam is giving you a taxonomy of animals also. Okay, it's very interesting, scientific. And if you observe, you see, yeah, this is true. This is actually true. So these categories are there. And then there are the birds and land, which are land dwelling and aquatic birds. So this is what is the fourth category that is given. And what are the characteristics of these lower animals? So lower animals may, one interesting thing we said in plants, what is the nourishment? It is upward, bottom to top. In animals, horizontal nourishment. Okay, so another classification given that in animals the nourishment is horizontal. So if you see all the animals there and their body is like this, plants are like this, animals are like this, so they are horizontal nourishment. Then one very interesting point, it says animals have no concept of future. They don't deliberate, they don't think. वो लोग को विवेक बुद्धि नहीं है सोचने के लिए कि अरे ये मैं जो कर रहा हूँ ये सही है क्या? Should I kill this deer? Should I, maybe I already killed one deer yesterday. Should I spare the life of this deer today? उनको ऐसा कोई deliberation नहीं. उनको खाली पेट की भूख, प्यास, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This is all they are aware. They don't know anything else. They have not been given the intelligence to do anything beyond eating, sleeping, mating, which is reproducing, and defending themselves. इसके अलावा animals और कुछ नहीं करते. Right? Now the question may be, if that is true for the animals, what are we doing? हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? Are we doing anything beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending? Prabhupada makes a point in the purport. Animals to mate maybe once in a year, twice in a year max. Human beings, we are the special ones who mate एनी टाइम, हमारा कोई सीजन नहीं होता कभी भी. So there is a verse that says हितोपदेश आहार निद्रा भय मैथुनम च समन्यम एताद पशुभिः नराणाम धर्मो हि तेषाम अधिको विशेषो धर्मेण हीन पशुभिः. It says that this eating, sleeping, mating, defending, ahar, nidra, bhay, maithun, samanyam etad, pashubhi, dharana. Online. I just muted. So, samanyam etad, pashubhi, dharana. That means common, eating, sleeping, mating, defending are common to the animals and the human. Pashubhi, narana. Common hai. And it is acceptable. Humans also need to eat. We also need to sleep. We also need to mate. We also need to defend. Fine, no problem. But what is different? Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. Dharma, religiosity, this process of connecting, understanding. Like, who am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I in this body? Why do I have this painful body? Why can't I have a nice, healthy body? Why is my father like this? Why is my son like this? Why is my office like this? Why is my this like that? Yes, sochna, thinking about why am I in this situation? Why am I suffering? Who is this God? People say that there's a creator who created everything. दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई? काहे को दुनिया बनाई? Right? Can an animal think this? No. If you see an animal, एक कुत्ता होता है, डॉग होता है, वो डॉग देखता है कि किसी के दुकान में वहां पे रोटी पड़ी हुई, वो जाके रोटी के अंदर अपना मुंह डालने जाता है एंड दुकानदार धाड़ करके उसको एक लाठी से जोर से मारता है, डॉग भाग जाता है, तुरंत से. बट वो डॉग को समझ में नहीं आया कि क्या हुआ. डॉग हैज नॉट अंडरस्टूड व्हाई दिस फेलो बीट मी. थोड़ी समझ में आया रोटी खाने गया, क्या तकलीफ क्या है. वो वापस जाता है और वापस लाठी खाता है वो. He doesn't understand, right? This is the animal. So dharmo hi tesham adhiko. It is extra and vishesho, special. About whom? About not animals, us, narana, right? Dharmena hina pashubhi sama. If we are heen, we are not having this connection with dharma. हमें तो पता ही नहीं है क्या ये धर्मा 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 बोलते रहते हैं, आपको तो आइडिया ही नहीं है क्या है धर्म. If we are धर्मी in a हीन category, then we are पशु भी समान. सब में से take great pride. हाँ तो क्या? Man is a two-legged animal. But if you are a two-legged animal, why do you have so much intelligence? Why you have been given so much resource? To whom much is given, much is expected. अगर आपको, अगर अभी आप समझो, some of you were in officer cadre in HPCL, BPCL, RPF, data पर officer cadre में थे और आप फिर manager cadre में चले गए. So when you go to manager cadre, you are given promotion. Correct? No, officer to manager is promotion, right? I don't know. Sir, that's how it works. तो आपको प्रमोशन मिल गया. प्रमोशन के साथ आपको बड़ा डेस्क भी मिल जाता है. किसी किसी को मैनेजर से जीएम, उसको सेक्रेटरी भी मिल जाती है, उसको गाड़ी भी मिलती है, उसको बड़ा घर भी मिलता है, ऑफिस भी एक्सपैंड हो जाता है, एक दो असिस्टेंट भी आ जाते हैं. क्यों क्यों दिया आपको ये इतना सब एक्स्ट्रा सैलरी, एक्स्ट्रा घर, एक्स्ट्रा फैसिलिटी क्यों दिया? हायर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. मोर फैसिलिटी, मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. यू कैन से हमको खाली ऑफिस चाहिए था, काम नहीं यार, हम तो वही काम करेंगे जो पहले कर रहे थे, भागो यहाँ से, भगा देंगे ना अपने को. They will not keep us. It's very clear. To whom much is given, much is expected. We are given this intelligence to inquire, ask, to understand कि भाई मैं कौन हूँ, ये भगवान कौन है, मेरा उनसे क्या लेना है, right? That is what, the animals have no concept. They can never understand. right? Unless specifically empowered by the Lord in one of his incarnations, animals have no understanding. They are preoccupied with eating and sleeping. This is another characteristic that is given. Animals को सिर्फ खाना और सोना, ये उनका मेन काम है बस. मेटिंग में उनका इतना बहुत ज्यादा फाइट नहीं है, साल में एक बार दो बार बस, that's it. They don't really struggle so much. Once in a year, and there is no discrimination there also. जो मिल गया पहला, that's it. Start. Prabhupada makes a beautiful point in purport. He says that is why animals can be controlled so easily. He says that even a very violent and super powerful animal like a tiger can be tamed simply by giving it food and accommodation to sleep. उसको सोने का जगह दे दो, उसको खाने के लिए रोज दे दो, वो भी आपके लिए ऐसा खड़ा रह के डांस करेगा. सर्कस में देखते हैं ना हम लोग. This is the principle. Prabhupada is saying that they are just preoccupied with eating and sleeping. Now try to draw parallels to yourself. Yourself means I include myself in that. Are we also spending our day and our night like animals, only preoccupied with eating, sleeping, mating, and defending? हमारे सारे जीवन का लक्ष्य भी वही है, सारे कर्म भी वही है कि हाउ टू ईट बेटर. भाई जो कल जो सब्जी बनी थी अच्छी थी, लेकिन अभी उसमें और कुछ स्वाद होना चाहिए, तो एक जाके वो मसाला खरीद के लाओ, मसाला बहुत अच्छा है. हाँ, एंड देन हाउ कैन आई स्लीप बेटर. यार ये हमारा बेड जो है मजा नहीं आया, उसको और थोड़ा सॉफ्ट बनाओ, पिलो एकदम नरम होना चाहिए. If our whole life is focused on only these things, how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend better, we are like two-legged animals. That's not the purpose of human life. Prabhupada says that. Yeah, one more thing, they understand their needs by smell. Animals, उनको only sense of smell is very strong, and उनको सब कुछ smell से ही मिलता है. So if you see the dogs, you see the cats, their sense of smell is extremely evolved, extremely. That's why we have sniffer dogs. एक चीज कोई सूंघ लिया तो वो उसका सेंट ढूंढते 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 ढूंढते, हम लोग को तो समझ में भी नहीं आता. We can't smell anything, but they can smell. कि अभी किसी का कपड़ा था, किसी का कपड़ा फट गया था, वो कपड़ा स्मेल करके they can smell वो कपड़ा थ्रू दी एयर कैसे गया है, वो एयर में उनको समझता है. कितना सूक्ष्म रहेगा सोचो. This is the superpower that has been given to the animals. They can smell much better than you. They can mate much better than you. They can defend much better than you. Try fighting with a pig. If a pig attacks you, you can't defend yourself from a pig also. Bare-handed कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप. If a goose or a swan or a duck attacks or a hen attacks, hen तो छोटा है. hen तो छोटी. अगर butcher नहीं है, butcher तो मैनेज कर सकता है. आम आदमी हम में से कोई भी अगर hen ने आके हमको अटैक किया ना, you have to run for your life. A hen can destroy you in 5 minutes. They have been given that power to defend. That's how they will survive. Otherwise, how they'll survive? Right? Very interesting. So this is animals. Then there is the. I have to keep time. What time did we start? We started at 6:35, right? That means I have to end by 7:35, and then we leave. When do we end? We end by 8. What is the time to end? अभी मेरे को थोड़ा confuse हो रहा है. Including kirtan and everything. Before 8, right? Done. हो जाए. Yes. Okay. Then there is the human beings. Okay. The third category. First category was immovable, which is plants. Second was lower species, which is animals. Third is human beings. Human beings में what are the characteristics? Downward nourishment. So food goes from up to down. Plants में down to up. Animals में left to right, right to left. ये human beings में downward nourishment. Second point, human beings are passionate by nature. Passionate means what? We are very much attached to our bodies. We are very much attached to sense gratification. We have the wildest ideas about how to enjoy sense gratification. Animals don't think like that. Human beings think. हम लोग तो पल पल में सोचते हैं अपना लाइफ कैसे ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल बना जाए. जैसे भी मैं यहाँ पे आके बैठता हूँ, ये आप लोग का तो सादा चेयर है, मेरे लिए चेयर विद पिलो है. क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने 8 साल पहले बोल के रखा है मेरे को तो पिलो होना है, बिकॉज आई एम बैक फ्रॉम. सो आई एम ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अबाउट माय कंफर्ट. माय कंफर्ट शुड बी देयर बाबा, नहीं तो मैं लेक्चर के लिए आएगा ही नहीं. राइट? वी आर ऑलवेज लाइक दैट, यू नो. द अनदर थिंग इज डेडिकेटेड टू वर्क. Humans are very dedicated to work. Why? We work thinking. हम लोग क्या सोच के काम करते हैं? Anyone? हम लोग काम क्यों करते हैं? Why do we work? Huh? For the rewards. What do we do with the rewards? For enjoyment, right? You know, I've told this before. I'll tell it again. There was a businessman. Okay, a true story. Yeah? There was a businessman. Actually, all I'm telling is true story. मैं कुछ भी ऐसा मन गढ़ंत नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. ये true story बोल दिया मतलब बाकी सब झूठ था क्या? नहीं, वो भी सच्ची था. So true story. There was a businessman, and one of our temple very senior at that time he was brahmachari. Now he is a sannyasi, Bhakti Rasamrita Swami. So he met that businessman and he asked that businessman, he saw the businessman's lifestyle. वो सुबह 6 बजे उठते थे, उठ के स्नान करके 2 टोस्ट खा के आउट, ऑफिस के लिए निकल जाते. एंड पूरा दिन गधे के जैसे काम कर रहे, काम गधा मजूरी, वर्किंग हार्ड, ट्राई एंड अर्न मनी, ट्राई एंड मेहनत कर रहे, मेहनत कर रहे, मेहनत कर रहे. He would come home at 9:30 in the night. You would leave home at 6:37 and you would come home at 9:30 in the night. And after coming home at 9:30 और बीच में लंच भी कभी खाया कभी नहीं खाया, मतलब ऐसा वाला. रात को आके थका हारा हुआ एकदम हाफ डेड, थोड़ा टीवी देखते देखते थोड़ा सा कुछ डिनर खाया, क्रैश. रोज यही लाइफ, रोज यही. So this Bhakti Rasamrita Swami asked him that what's this you are doing? इतना सब तो मेहनत क्यों कर रहे हो? Why you are struggling so much? Why you are working so hard? So he said, well, I want to have a good life. I want to earn money. I want to earn money. मुझे नाम कमाना है. मेरे फैमिली को ये करना है, वो करना है. So he asked him, why you want to earn money? Well, I want to earn money because then with money I can, I can buy a good house. I can buy good clothes. I can buy a good food. He says, why you want to eat good food? Because starting to get more गर्मी बढ़ने लगी, जैसे अभी रूम में भी गर्मी बढ़ रही है, वैसे ही वहां पे भी गर्मी बढ़ने लग गई. Because the questioning was getting deeper, right? ये बीच बीच में हिंट देते रहूंगा, आप लोग समझ लोगे. So he asked him that why you want to eat good food? Why you want to eat good food? So he said, well, to stay alive, I suppose. So he asked him, why do you want to be alive? Why do you want to be alive? आपको जिंदा क्यों रहना है? And it was a very heavy question, right? Imagine if someone asks you, आप जिंदा क्यों हैं? तुमसे मतलब? मुझसे कोई मतलब नहीं है, मैं सिर्फ पूछ रहा हूँ आपको जिंदा क्यों रहना है? Why you want to be alive? What is the purpose of your life? Is it just to work like a donkey like this in run? Right? We are dedicated to work because we think that by working I will earn money. With that money I will get married. With that marriage I will have good wife. I will enjoy with her. I will have children. Or I'll have good husband. I'll enjoy with him. I'll have children. I'll have big house. I'll have bigger house. I'll have second home. I'll have hatchback car. Then I will have sedan car. Then I will have SUV car. I'll have SUV and sedan car. Then I will upgrade to Mercedes. ये हम लोग का कभी खत्म नहीं हो. It never ends. It goes on, right? Another point here, they think themselves happy even when in distress. So even when they are in deep distress, human beings feel that they are happy. उनको लगता है कि हाँ अच्छा चल रहा है। जैसे किसी व्यक्ति को जाके पूछो भाई साहब कैसे हो, हाँ बढ़िया है, ठीक चल रहा है, वहां पे उसके ऐसे बैंड बजे हुए हैं, मतलब ही इज कंप्लीटली फिनिश्ड, मतलब मटेरियली उसका वाइफ उसको मतलब छोड़ने पे आई है, उसका जॉब भी निकलने वाला है, बच्चे तो एकदम घृणा करते हैं उनसे, लेकिन उनसे पूछो कैसे, अरे बढ़िया, हाउस लाइफ, लाइफ इज ग्रेट, right? We are taught to speak positive. I'm not debating. Good. We should be positive. No harm in being positive. But this is what Bhagavatam is saying. This is what human beings do. Even though we are in distress, we think ourselves happy. Like that. Okay. And then he talks about 8 types of demigods. Okay. So Vibudhas, demigods, Pitris, Asuras, Gandharvas and Apsaras, Yakshas and Rakshasas, Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, Bhutas, Pretas, Pisajas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas and others. So there are these 8 categories of demigods. So like this, a full description is given. All these are created by Brahma. सो कहीं ऐसा लिखा नहीं है कि एक में से दूसरा बना, दूसरे में से तीसरा बना, तीसरे में से पांचवा, छठा, सातवां, ऐसा कहीं नहीं लिखा है. We don't accept because it logically makes no sense. Evolution does not make sense even to the scientists today, because in evolution if you compare, right, everyone's body is made up of DNA. Everyone knows, you have heard about DNA, at least नाम तो सुना हो. But DNA में क्या होता है? Everyone has an X number of chromosomes, right? We have human beings have 46 chromosomes. 23 are X, 23 are Y. Correct, no? मैं यहाँ पे confidently बोल सकता हूँ, because I hope there are no biology experts here. मैं पकड़ा जाऊँगा 1 मिनट में. अच्छा माता जी है क्या? वंदना जी, thank you. Thank you for warning me. Now I'll go little slow. ज़्यादा बोल गया माता जी, मतलब like क्या बकवास कर रहा है? Okay, but there are 46 chromosomes. Okay, but if you are saying evolution from one form to another form, evolution, then the chromosomes should increase. Evolution है, but ऐसा नहीं है. There are animals which are much lower in species, but they have 200 chromosomes, and there are animals which are much higher. Elephant has the maximum number of chromosomes. ऐसा कुछ लॉजिक नहीं है कि इतना क्रोमोसोम नहीं. Elephant has the maximum number of chromosomes. There's one video I'll share it with. It's actually made by a Christian missionary who is using DNA to prove that God exists. So DNA is, if you know what is DNA, it is a molecule. It is a molecule. It's shaking her head vigorously. That it. Right? So DNA is a molecule, and it is the most complex molecule ever discovered in the world. उससे ज़्यादा कोई complex molecule नहीं. All the chemistry fans here. नाइस, ना आरसीएफ, पीपीसीएल, एसपीसीएल, मैं थोड़ा केमिस्ट्री झाड़ सकता हूँ, थोड़ा बहुत इतना याद है. तो दिस डीएनए, if you, it is like a string, right? It's like a complex string. So if you take all the DNA that exists in the human body, okay, all of it is 2 teaspoons worth. 2 टीस्पून में हमारा सारे शरीर का डीएनए आ जाए. बट वो टीस्पून के अंदर वो जो माइक्रोस्कोपिक लेवल पे अगर आपको डीएनए का स्ट्रिंग्स ओपन आउट करोगे, the whole DNA in our body will stretch from here to the moon and back 550 times. That is the length of DNA in our body, which is contained in 2 tablespoons. उतना quantity है, लेकिन उतना उसका length है, उतना fine है. Now, this DNA is the most complex molecule, but it is also proof that there is a designer. कैसे? Because they have realized DNA is nothing but coded information. For those of you who are in software programming, it is like a software program which determines कि कौन कैसे जिएगा, कौन healthy होगा, कौन unhealthy होगा, कौन लंबा होगा, कौन नाटा होगा, कौन मोटा होगा, कौन पतला होगा, कौन गोरा होगा, कौन काला होगा. Everything determined by DNA. That DNA determines, for example, suppose um, suppose my knee is paining. Okay, my knee is paining. That means something is lacking there. Some tissue is hurt. Something is, some bone is affected. So the DNA has got an address like Amazon का हर Google Maps का हर घर सबका mapped है ना. वैसे every location on your body has a DNA map, and depending on what is needed, like a logistics courier रहता है ना, वो जो Amazon का courier रहता है, वो बारकोड लगाता है कि ये प्रोटीन जो है उस लोकेशन पे भेजो. Then there's a complex mechanism, वो मेरे को मत पूछो क्या है. DNA converts into RNA. That RNA then gets a marker which tells that go to this location, deliver protein from here to there, and all of this is happening through the medium of DNA, and that DNA is teaspoons in our body. It's quite unbelievable. अगर हम देखते हैं ना तो हम imagine भी नहीं कर सकते ये क्या है. This is what is the ये. So this is a description given of the creation created by Brahma. Then there are divisions of time. This I'll just rush through quickly because we don't have time. I'm talking about time, but I'll rush through quickly. So, first thing that is said is the description. Okay, again, interesting. As I said, science, Srimad Bhagavatam. The description of the smallest particle of material manifestation is called Paramanu or atom. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5,500 years ago, talks about atom. Dalton ने कभी डिस्कवर किया? 1863, something like that. Basically in the 19th century, 2 centuries ago. 50 centuries back, this has been stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the smallest component of material manifestation is Parmanu or atom. Now, how is time measured? Very interesting. So the next chapter, chapter 11, talks about time. Okay, so I'll quickly run through this. So the time taken by the sun to move from one point to the other is used to measure time in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Vedic concept of time, Vedic cosmology. So 6 atoms together. One atom is practically you cannot even see it. It's so minuscule, right? It's atomic microscope. It's so small. 6 atoms together, hexaatom is called a Trasharenu. 3 Trasharenu or 18 atoms. The time taken by the sun to move through these 18 atoms, matlab just that split second, is called a Truti. Truti. Okay, so Truti. Then there's a whole table. Okay, in this book, no, there's this whole table. Okay, there's this whole table. So I'll not read it. आप लोगों को मैं details लेके बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं करूँगा. But one Truti is compared to 8 divided by 13,500 seconds. That is 0.00005 something. That many seconds is one Truti, which is the time that the sun takes to move from one 18 atoms unit to the next. That's how minuscule the time starts. Calculation of time. Then the next unit is Veda. 100 Trutis is one Veda. Lava is 3 Vedas, which is 8 divided by 45 1 second. So Prabhupada has given the comparison with modern time and Vedic time. Okay, Lava. Where have we heard Lava? साधु संग सर्व शास्त्र कोय लव मात्र साधु संग सर्व सिद्धि होय. 8 divided by 45 seconds is one lava, meaning fraction of a second you get a genuine sadhu association. Sarva siddhi hoy, your life is already perfect. It is lava. Nimesha. Any Kannadigas here? Kannadigas कोई है रूम में? Yes. One the Nimesha. इसे तेलुगु में भी बोलते हैं ना निमिषा. One Nimisha. So one nimesha is 3 lava or 8 divided by 15 seconds, which means half second. One nimesha is half second. One shana is 3 nimeshas. Okay, shana is little more than 1 second. Kastha is 5 shana. Laghu And like that, Muhurta is approximately 1 hour. शुभ मुहूर्त कब निकल रहे हैं, ब्रह्म मुहूर्त कब है? माता जी said मुहूर्त every day, right? So I don't कितने लोग देखते, माता जी sincerely बेचारी every day she is sending for 2 years, but मुहूर्ता is 1 hour. आप देखते हैं, मैं भी देखता हूँ बट एक्शन भी लेना होगा ना हम लोग सबको, वो मैं नहीं ले पाता. Then there is prahara. In Mahabharata, I have heard prahar many times. Prahara. One prahar is 3 hours. Then day plus night is 8 praharas, which is 24 hours. Okay. Fortnight is consisting of 15 days and night. Month is 2 fortnights. Season is 2 months. Ayana is movement of sun from south to north. Dakshinayana, Uttarayana. We have heard these terms coming from here. Ayana is 6 months. And a year is consisting of 2 ayanas. And this 1 year, it is described 2 ayanas of the sun is 1 complete day and 1 complete night for the demigods. That means हम लोग का जो 1 साल है, तो demigod का 1 day. Okay, so now the relative time starts. Okay, sorry. Okay, so then we discuss different divisions of this. All that in Bhagavatam. You can refer. सब है Bhagavatam. In the third canto, 10th, 11th chapter, which is divisions of time. Then after that, then the duration of A to micro time ho gaya. Then the macro time is described. Okay, the different yugas. So Kali Yuga, which we are living in currently, is equivalent to 1,200 demigod years or 4,32,000 years. 4,32,000 years of Kali Yuga, out of which around 5,200 have passed. So there is still some 4,17,000 years still left in Kali Yuga. Long way to go. Okay. Then Dwapar is double, which is 8,64,000 years. Treta is triple, which is 12,96,000 years, and Satyuga is 1728. All put together, all these four, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, all put together is called one Chatur Yuga. 1,000 such cycles of Chatur Yuga is 1 day of Brahma. How's that? Bouncer गया कि नहीं सबको? एकदम जबरदस्त bouncer गया, एकदम मतलब वो विकेट कीपर भी पकड़ नहीं पाया उसको, एकदम उसके सर के ऊपर से भी निकल गया, है ना? फुल डाइव मारा लेकिन नहीं पकड़ पाया. But that is 1 day of Brahma. Now how do we understand this? मन काढ़ ये कैसे हो सकता? How is it possible? But then there are insects that are born in the evening, they mate by night, they grow old by late night, and morning they die. Now if you tell them, hey, मतलब one of those insects in school, वो स्कूल भी गया वो पीरियड में, वो अपने स्कूल में बैठा है दोस्त के साथ, और स्कूल में टीचर बताया बच्चों, ह्यूमन बीइंग करके एक व्यक्ति रहता है, एक one particular species is there, वो उसका एक दिन का वैसे एक महीना, वैसा एक साल 365 दिन, और ऐसे वो 100 साल जीता है. कैसे हो सकता है ये? पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, right? Because we don't understand, our frame of reference is different. The same way Brahma is in a different frame of reference. He doesn't feel that he is living for so many trillions of years. उसको तो वैसा ही लगता है कि मेरा 100 साल निकल गया, right? But relative to Brahma, this we feel is very massive. So it's all relative. There's a concept of relativity of time, right? This is explained over here. Then another point that's made is in Satyuga, Dharma is completely maintained, full maintenance. But in every subsequent Yuga, 1/4 is gone. That means 3/4 of whatever was Dharma is already gone. Abhi Kali Yuga aa gaya, to 1/4 hi bacha, right? So like that, then there's a description that, the Lord in form of Kalagni Rudra destroys the 3 worlds at the end of Brahma's day. Now you can imagine how long is Brahma's day. 1,000 such 4 yuga cycles is one Brahma's day. Like this, he has the equal night also, and he also lives 100 years like this. So, how long is Brahma's life? We cannot even imagine. You have to understand that this is the duration of the universe. This is the duration of Brahma's life, and still Krishna is saying, "Ah Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino." That's why the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is not just for Hindus, it's not just for India, it's not just for the Earth planet, it's for everyone. Right? In the fourth chapter, he says, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, the sun god. He then gave it to his son Ikshvaku. But this parampara was lost. That's why I'm now starting it for you again. So Gita is universal. These principles are universal. And last point I'll make, I'll just read this. Eternal time. Okay, Prabhupada says this in one of the purports, and I'll just quote, okay, and we'll end with this. Eternal time is certainly the controller of different dimensions. Time is the controller. From that of the atom up to the super divisions of the duration of Brahma's life. But nevertheless, time is also controlled by the Supreme Lord. Right? Kalosmi, he says, I am time. So Krishna is the controller of time also. And time can control only those who are bodily conscious. Because time acts on matter. Time doesn't act on spirit, doesn't act on the soul. Why? Anyone? Matter changes, spirit doesn't change. Spirit doesn't change, right? We have discussed in the second chapter of Gita, the soul is immutable, it is eternal, it cannot be cut, it cannot be dried, it cannot be wet by water, it cannot be moved by wind, nothing. Soul doesn't change, soul is eternal. Sat Chit Ananda, right? That's the nature of the soul. Therefore, time can't act on the soul. So only those of us, which is all of us basically, but only those of us who are body conscious, time only acts on those people. Even up to the point of Brahma, even up to the point of Brahma, if Brahma is bodily conscious, time acts on Brahma also. But time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. Because in the spiritual world, everyone is eternal, everything is eternal. So time is nothing there. So इतना सब मंजन करने का अर्थ क्या है? इतना सब मंजन करने का अर्थ ये है, you should understand that we discussed various things, right, about the creation, the different types of species, and we spoke about the divisions of creation, the non-moving, the lower animals, human beings, demigods. First point to take away: all created, not evolved. None of them have evolved. They've been created specifically according to a particular type of desire and a particular type of karma. A certain type of reservoir is created. And आपका सोल उस reservoir में डाला जाएगा by प्रकृति. You have no control. आपके हाथ में कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है कि आपका अगला जन्म क्या होने वाला है. No one knows. Only प्रकृति knows. पता है, कृष्णा knows. अगले जन्म में ना सब बहुत बात कर लिया, अगले जन्म में सुअर बनेगा. No one knows. No one knows. We cannot be sure, right? But we understand what is given here. We apply it in our life. Understand that Bhagavatam is therefore giving us the route to get out of this cycle of birth and death. How? By hearing Hari Katha, by chanting the holy names Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. So, where is Vimana? Do we take questions or do we do Kirtan? Anyone has any questions? Just one or two, maybe quick. Yes, please. No, they are there. They are definitely there. So those see, if you remember in Gita, in 7th chapter, Krishna says, Bhumi apo nalo vayu kham mano buddhir evacha ahankar. These 8 elements he talks about: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then he said, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So mind, intelligence, and false ego are what is called subtle body. That is a subtle body. And the gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Correct? So, when somebody leaves this body, akal mrityu, untimely death, or violent death, unexpected death, and there are a lot of desires, and that body is no longer there. किसी ने अकाल मृत्यु दे दिया, तो तभी sometimes they go in their subtle body is still, soul is connected with subtle body. Soul goes with, when it goes from one body to the other, it goes with the subtle body. But who is the carrier of that? The Paramatma. Paramatma carries the soul from one body to the other, right? So sometimes अगर किसी का वो या तो बहुत very sinful activities or very strong desires but untimely death, sometimes they get a ghostly body. And it is not imagination, it's a fact. There are ghosts, there are pisachas here, and some of them, there are, Prabhupada mentions in one of the purports in this section only, that there are even these jinns. जो जिन बोलते हैं ना, जिनी, तो है, is there, but we can't perceive because हमारा gross eyes है. Like, I right now while I'm talking, maybe millions of bacteria are streaming out of my mouth, right? When I'm coughing, I can't see. But if I put a microscope, I can see. But I don't have a microscope, I don't see. So if someone tells me, hey, तेरे मुंह से bacteria निकल रहा है, I don't accept. मुझे नहीं दिखता. Same way, I don't have the sight to see the soul, to see a subtle body, to see a ghost. So I can't believe it. It's good. So humans are created as it is described in the Bhagavatam, where specifically with certain senses, very scientifically it is described that first this sense came, then this sense came, then this sense. First sense of, I think, first sense of hearing, which is the first one? Sound. Na? So first sense of hearing, then ऐसे एक करके the senses develop in the human body, and it's all specifically designed. If you have to say that a monkey evolved into a human being, there is no proof of this whatsoever. If one is to accept that हाँ evolve होता है, तो अभी क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Why today we are not seeing monkeys evolving into humans? Why we don't see the missing link? They say there is a missing link. Sometimes in 1920, there was one person who said, I have found the missing link. It's buried somewhere in the snow-capped mountains of Switzerland. I have found the missing link. Missing link लेके आया, दिखाया, और 20 साल तक लोग ने believe भी किया. Then it was found that it was fake, not real. So, Darwin's theory talks about evolution. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what everyone is taught, right? So Prabhupada says, like for example, Bhagavad Gita does talk about evolution, but not evolution of species. It says that the soul, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara, tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muyati. So as the embodied soul passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, it will pass into another body. A person, a sober person is not bewildered by the change. Another body means which body? तो मैं जरूरी नहीं, गारंटी नहीं है, कहीं लिख के नहीं दिया है that you will be born in human body only. If you have done a lot of sinful activity and you have a lot of sinful desires in your heart, you may be given an animal body. No guarantee. That evolution is there. Prabhupada said this is evolution. This is the evolution of the soul. And the soul which goes through animal, which goes to a lower species, like this, plant species, animal species, automatically they are sent from lower to higher. Automatically. They don't need to. So to that extent, evolution is there. The soul evolves from one body to another to another to another. But the bodies don't change. Bodies are always there. So there are stories. See, if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks about stories from Satyuga. Now, if we accept the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Satyuga was some 2.5 million years ago, right? If we accept the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2.5 million years ago, also they are speaking about horses, they're speaking about elephants, they're speaking about swans, they're speaking about parrots, they're speaking about human beings. So Prabhupada, no, once one person, and I'll take your question next, Mataji. Prabhupada in one assembly, he was asked by somebody, it was challenging. No, but I think that it is like this. I don't believe in all this. I think this is what happened. So Prabhupada told him that this is what Srimad Bhagavatam says. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. So should I accept what Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam says, or should I accept a loafer like you? He said that. Shall I accept what is there in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, or shall I accept what a loafer like you is saying? मैं किसका authority accept करूं आप बताओ. So that's it. So silence forever. Our point is, Srimad Bhagavatam explains scientifically, whereas the scientists like Darwin have made a lot of conjecture, a lot of guesswork, and there's no proof for that. There are no. While the theory is very interesting, right? Survival of the fittest, then this theory of evolution, very interesting, but it doesn't explain too many things. There are too many things that are unexplained. How did the first living entity? How did it decide to become a fish? How did the fish decide to come on, on land? How did it decide? Some of them became amphibians, some of them became land creatures, some of them decided to fly. One day they became birds. Some of them became mammals. Out of those mammals, some of them evolved into human beings. It's a beautiful, imaginative story, but there is no. When Bhagavatam tells us this is what has been created since time immemorial, whom do we accept? Comes down to that. Sorry, she had a question. They all enter into the body of Mahavishnu. All the universes at the end of Brahma's life, those universes enter into the body of Mahavishnu and they reside there for some time till again Lord Vishnu breathes out. Again the universes come out. Again the process of creation starts. That's how it is explained. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yes. That's one night, yeah. That is a day. Then year. Yes. 100 years. Yes. My point is we have knowledge of this whole universe. Yes. As per this. Yes. What happened to other, thousands and lakhs of years? So that is what. So very is that knowledge? It's a good question. It's a good question. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam, no, it doesn't give info. Very often, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, no, some of it will not make chronological sense. Yugas also can. It is because it is from another yuga cycle. So information from different Chatur yuga cycles is provided in one place in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is that information, but Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj when he had 7 days left. He had only 7 days left to live. So how much information can be given? So only enough so that he can perfect his life and go back. Okay. So we'll do Kirtan for 5 minutes and then we'll have who had a question? We'll take it offline. Okay. अभी रेमोन अप्रूव हम तो strictly follow करेंगे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा हरे राम.